Okay. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Checking connection. Okay, I'm on 3 different things. I never like the way I look on these things anyway. I thought I'd just jump on here and just do a little weekly chat. I've never really done one on a Saturday night, so let's see who joins on. I'm across 3 different platforms. So thank you for joining me. If anyone is joining on, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, and as I mentioned, I'm all over the place. So I just thought I'd jump on, do a little weekly chat as I like to do. It's generally on Sunday nights, but I thought I got nothing else to do. Partner's out, she's at the theatre, so I thought why not make the most of it and jump on and have a chat and see where people are at. I've had a few people get in touch. I've had a lot of people get in touch actually, which is it always baffles me and surprises me. Because to be honest, I never thought anyone really cared, wanted to. Hi, hello, White Horse. I need to reply to you as well. Yeah, I never really thought anyone actually really cared, but apparently a lot of people want to get information, want to know what's going on. I'm catching up with some people in Greece when I get there in July, checking out some apartments. I'm showing them what I'm doing with my apartments and the renovations that I'm doing and starting to do anyway. I'm currently in the process. And just giving them an idea of sort of where I'm going with it and what I like to do and sort of the blueprints that I've created for myself over the last 7 or so years of buying property in Greece. What are the new building rules for Greece? Where in Greece? What do you mean the new building rules for Greece? You mean about Airbnb and all that kind of stuff and the regulations that they need? Because or do you mean in general building rules? I need to be a little bit more specific about that. With regards to the Airbnb stuff, and boy, has that blown up. I did a post, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. It's got about 37,000 views and quite some interesting responses on there. First and foremost, I love chatting to everyone about anything. I don't care. Let's chat Greek properties. And I never, I always feel weird when I'm replying to people because I'm like, is this going to come across as like, I'm, trying to be negative or I'm trying to start a fight? I'm never trying to start an argument. I actually just want to know what the hell people think. But a lot of people have been sort of sending interesting comments and messages about the new Airbnb the new short-term rental bans that have come into play in Athens. So for those that are still new to all this sort of stuff, there's become a market, a rental market crisis in Greece, predominantly because of the short-term rentals that have kicked up, obviously through Airbnb and Booking.com and whatever other platform there is. And basically, what's happened is a lot of people have gone in there. A lot of Westerners, or not Westerners, but sorry, internationals have gone into Greece, swooped up these properties in Greece, and turned them into Airbnbs because obviously, why not? That's where the money is. And it's great for everyone else. The only issue is now that the locals don't really have any place to live, and it's become sort of a situation. It's starting to become more of a situation in places like Athens, but it's obviously spreading across the country. So what Greece decided to do, in Athens in particular, is that they want to ban, or they brought in a rule as of the first of January. They implemented this law to take place in October. Make that make sense? Where they are banning the new licenses of Airbnbs or short-term rentals for a year in the first 3 districts of Athens, of Athena. So it's generally from the Acropolis down towards the water somewhere. I can't, obviously there's like 20 different suburbs. I've got the suburbs on my I've put it on as a static post somewhere on the social. So if you actually want to find out where these places are and where they're banned, just scroll through my page. You'll find it's a list of the properties. I'm sure if you do a Google search, you'll be able to find it as well. And it's a trial basis. They're only doing it for 12 months. And then, now this doesn't stop anyone from actually operating an Airbnb if you've currently got a license for that certain property. But what it's stopping you from doing is buying a property, applying through Airbnb to get it to have it operating as an Airbnb. Greece will just go, no, sorry. And it's only certain places. Again, trial run only for a year. But with these regulations, what they've started to do is implement newer uh, and not stricter, but I guess stricter in a sense, restrictions regarding short-term rental accommodations. So you got to have smoke alarms, you got to have fire extinguishers, you got to have fire blankets, you got to have all these different rules and regulations, which I mean, people are losing their shit over. But how is this a bad thing? I don't understand. Everyone, how is this a bad thing? And people are coming down on this. They're like, oh, Greece is corrupt, the government, this and that. What do you mean? I don't understand. How is this a bad thing? They're trying to actually, I mean, for what? Like, okay, I get it. Greece is corrupt. Okay, we've all heard that story. Um, yes, there is some corruption. Show me a country where there isn't corruption. But also, they're actually trying to do good. They're actually trying to do good for the first time ever. I mean, I don't see how this could be a bad thing when they're trying to bring the market back to the locals. And sure, it's a bad thing in the sense if your game is doing short term rentals, particularly in those spots in Athens, yeah, it sucks. It sucks for anyone trying to get into it. It doesn't suck for anyone who's currently operating. It's status quo for you guys. I don't understand what the issue is. The only difference is, if anything, it's more of an incentive to buy and rent long term, because with the long term property that you're going to get, it again only in Athens, only for the year, only in only in that district, in those particular areas. Well, they're giving you a 3-year tax break, and there's a possible €10,000 grant that you can apply for to then renovate your property. People are losing their shit. I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm like, all right, fine. Greece corrupt. I mean, I've heard that story, man. I've heard it all before so many times. Everyone's got a, Greece corrupt. My uncle told me this. My cousin knows that. My brother's done that. Their dog Katsika's freaking little baby goat has got that. And all right, cool. Well, how are you affected? How are you affected personally? That's what I want to know. And I actually implore people to tell me, because I'm actually curious to know how people are affected by these things, even with the whole Hellinikon project, which is currently going up in Athens. Again, God forbid a massive project goes up in Athens. Government's corrupt. All right. I mean, the Labor's going to Athens. That's because Greeks hate regulation. Greeks hate themselves. I don't think Greeks hate regulation. Greeks just hate everything. Like, tell me a family that hasn't had any negative connectivity to it. Like, I mean, every Greek I speak to, they're either getting screwed up by the government. There's not enough money. They can't cope. They can't do this. There's no jobs. They're still smoking the cigarette. They're still sitting there for up there. They're still out every night at the bars. They're still vacating on an island somewhere. Okay, well, I don't know. Like, there's negativity everywhere. There's nothing but negativity. I mean, that's all I keep hearing. But at the same time, the country's moving forward. And here's the other thing, man. At the end of the day, someone's making money in the country. Someone is making money in the country. The market is going up. Things are growing. Buildings are being built. Places are being renovated and leased and sold and bought. And someone's making money. So what's the issue? That you're not making money? Well, then maybe look at yourself. I don't know, because I'm making money in Greece. I know other people that are making money in Greece, irrespective of how corrupt the government is. I don't know. It's all dirty money. Maybe mine's clean. Other people's are clean. If it's all dirty money, then we're all corrupt. Sure. Prove to me that it's dirty money. It's very easy to say it's all dirty money and the government's corrupt. Prove it to me. Where's your proof? Why is it all dirty money and it's all corrupt? It's very easy to sit back and say that, but I don't see any proof. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I think it's a very, very common scapegoat to just be like, the country's corrupt. It's all dirty. Maybe. Or maybe you just don't know what to do. I don't know, because their wages are low compared to us here in Australia. Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. But also their rents aren't excruciating high either. Like, the rents reflect the wages. You're also not renting a place out for 1,800 to 2,500 a month. I mean, if you are, you've got the Parthenon directly in front of you, or the water or something. Like, the rents are anywhere from 300 and up for a studio to a 1-2 better, depending on where you live. The wages are 800 a month, but the rents are quite low as well. And also, don't keep into. You start with good intentions, but you're forced to join them to survive. Who's them? Did you? Were you forced to join them to survive? Have you survived? You're still talking, so you've survived. Did you join them? How have you been affected by it? This is what I want to know. Also, just to go back to you, things are cheap. I don't know if you've been to Greece, but you can go to the Lake Margeta and feed a family for €50 for a week. I'm not even lying. Like, things are cheap. Cherries this big, €1.50 for a kilo. They're $38 here in Australia for half a kilo. So I mean, it's reflected. Yeah, it's harder in Greece. Absolutely, I'm not denying that. But it's let's not, we can't just say, oh, their wages are low. Wages are low in general in Europe. People are still surviving. People are still making money somehow. And Athens Airbnb renovation insights. Oh, sorry, that's the AI stuff. I hate it when the AI stuff throws shit at me. I'm not good with this stuff. I'm not used to it. I just sort of get on, have a chat. I don't really know what's going on. There's so many things thrown at me in my face. But yeah, it's very interesting to see people's mentality. Fruit and veg are cheap, but not everything. No, not everything. But what is it that you need? What is it that you need more? Other than, like, what else isn't everything? Because medicine is free. I was there 2 years ago. I was there last year. I've lived there. I was born there. I've done school there. I've grown there. I've grown up there. Certain parts of Thessaloniki, right in my heart, under Lukipus. Explain to me, what did you not find cheap from living there? I don't understand. Like, I'm not saying that it's amazing and that it's very fruitful. It's not. I understand that wages are cheap, but when you on your own, yeah, you could make it work. If you're a couple, you share one rent for 300, for 350, 400. You're bringing in 1,600 a month, and you're sharing utilities. And fruit and veg are cheap. Is it the cost? Is it the lifestyle that's not cheap after that? You don't have enough money to spend to go out. Fair enough. I mean, a coffee's what, €2.5, €3. A drink's maybe €8, €9. Depends where you go. You don't need to go to the Busuk every night. You don't need to. People are still going. They're still vacating. They're still going to islands. They're still going different parts of the country. They're still making it work. Now, granted, it might be harder to buy real estate in Greece. How easy is it to buy real estate here? And we're on good wages. Compared to Greece, we're on good wages. A little bit better. If you bring it up to the average, yeah, sure, we're a little bit better. But I mean, what's an average salary here? 60, 70,000, and rents what, 1,800 on average. 60, 70,000. That's not even take home. So, like, I mean, how and go buy the same amount of veggies, fruit and veg, at a supermarket here. It's going to cost you at least $150, if not more, to feed a family at that. Like, not even to feed a family. So it's all relative. I'm very interested and intrigued when people just say that. But at the same time, we're not talking about the conversation here is mute, because in the sense that we're talking as investors about investing in Greece. We're not talking about living in Greece. If you want to live in Greece, that's a whole different story. I'm talking about investing in Greece. And we are very fortunate to be in the situation where we are living outside of Greece, making dollars to a degree, even though ours is worth, whatever. But we are still making dollars, and we can go there and buy something outright with a loan here, or money that we've saved up, or whatever. Community flag comments detected. Did I swear? Did I swear? Anyone? No? I don't know. Maybe I did. I'm sorry if anyone's offended, but also I'm offended that it flagged my comments. At the end of the day, business is business. If we are able to make money, then you're able to make money. That's the whole point of it, right? Like, I mean, you go to work, you got the job above someone else because you had the better qualifications. You were just gifted, or you were lucky. You got the job. You're now making the money that someone else isn't. The same deal with this. You are able to go over there and buy the property because you're able to make the money here, and a Greek isn't. I'm not saying that's the best thing in the world. I think it's crap that Greeks are struggling to buy property in Greece. But what I think is better is that Greeks from outside of the country are bringing money into the country, as opposed to the Russian, the Bulgarian mafia that are buying up a lot of the coastline of Thessaloniki, or the Albanian mafia, or the Israelis that are coming in, or anyone else is coming in for a golden visa, why should we give our country away to the Xeni? Why shouldn't we be the ones who are keeping it within our grasps, keeping it within our reach? Why is that a bad thing? So that's why I'm always intrigued to see when people say, "Oh no, it's um, it's corrupt and it's this and it's that." Well, why do you feel that that's a bad thing for you? I don't understand how you're being affected personally. Without Greeks, Australia would have no fish and chip shops. Gazoo, you heard one word, the mafia, and they've hung on to that. I get it. Okay, you're waiting for me to give you answers. Gazoo, do you own property there? Are you even Greek? I've never heard of the name Gazoo as a Greek name, but I'm intrigued. Like, you heard mafia, and you're like, exactly, dirty money, because there's no mafia in Australia or wherever you're from. I don't know. I mean, maybe you live you're one of the lucky ones who lives in the country that doesn't have mafia. But where do you own property, man? He owns property. I assume you're he. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm always very intrigued about people that don't show their face and comment and this and that. It's But I'll give you the time and day. I'll give you the respect. Where do you own property? I'd love to know. And if you do own property in Greece, how have you been affected? We have mafia in Australia. It's called unions. Yeah, absolutely. CFMEU, absolutely. So this is what I'm saying. Like, but my theory, my reasoning is, we can all sit back and complain about the mafia and the corruption and all that. Okay, fine, but the neighbors next door are still making money from their real estate. Like, Greece, unfortunately, it's not straightforward. You do business. It's not straightforward to do business. No, it's not straightforward to do business in Greece, but it doesn't mean that's the mafia's fault. Am I part of the mafia because I managed to figure out how to do business in Greece? I don't understand. Like, I wish I was. I'm not. I guarantee I'm not. But where in Greece have you bought property and you've found it hard to do business? I'm quite intrigued. And also, why don't you come to me? I'll help you, man. This is what I do. I'll help you. What's the issues that you've had, and how does it tie into the corruption in Greece? This is why I love talking to people. I'd love to know other people's situations, because I see mine and I hear all this negativity, and I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be the easiest. Athens and in Bardos. Now we can be friends. I love Bardos. Where in Bardos? I love Bardos. I want to buy in Bardos so much. And was it Bardos that got affected by the waters, by the way, by the floods, or was it Naxos? I think it was Bardos. And if so, is your property okay? But you've obviously done all right. If you bought in Athens and Bardos, that's twice that you've done it. Whether you've inherited it or you bought it, you've gone through the system, because I know I'm currently going through inheritance. And no, it's not the easiest, but I know what it entails. And I've also bought it a lot of times on my own, so I also know what that entails. So you've obviously done it. Now, I know it's not the easiest, and I know it can take its time. Believe me, my first one took me 6 weeks. My second one took me 14 months, because I'm in COVID, but then a whole bunch of other stuff. So I get it. But how has the mafia affected that for you? I'm very intrigued to know. And also, we're in Paddles, man. And also, can I stay there, please? I'll let you win this argument if you let me stay in Paddles for free, obviously. For those that haven't gone to Paddles, it's quite beautiful, and Andy Paddles as well underneath. It's on the same ferry line of Mykonos, Santorini, and then you go to Paddles and Naxos or whatever. But it's a beautiful island. I love those little local islands. On the topic of islands, Kalimnos, I was there last year, and I dead set want to buy in Kalimnos. I don't know if you know where that is, but Kalimnos, if you're looking at the map of Greece, is sort of like the south east towards Turkey. In fact, as I was going there on the boat, I picked up cell reception from Turkey, and I was like, "This is interesting." But Kalimnos is a gorgeous place, and it's touristy without being touristy. It's local tourists, and they grow the sponges there, the sea sponges. So it's a very beautiful place. And I remember being there. I got friends there. They took me all around the island, and property there is, I mean, it wasn't expensive. Like, it's expensive, obviously, but not what you would imagine for a Greek island. And I'm talking picturesque views. They're all on the Caldera or whatever it's called, like the hill. And you can see the water. And there was this one property that I was looking at, and they had photos on the inside, and you could see from the kitchen straight ahead was the front door, and the door was open, and it was just water. The view of the whole, like the what's it called, the bay of Galimnos, and it was only 90,000 euro, and it's kind of built up on 3 levels essentially. I blew my mind. Issues are with ownership. In summary, siblings don't talk. One wants to sell on the other party. How is this mafia? How, are you part? Doesn't want to sell, then leads you on, and you waste money trying to do the deal. How is this mafia, man? Are you part of the mafia? I don't understand how this is the mafia's fault or the corruption in Greece when you and your siblings aren't getting along. This is what I'm saying. People are very quick to go, government's corrupt. Well, no, your family can't get along. Like, how is that the government or the mafia? I'm sorry to hear that, because that sucks. There are legal things that you can do, and you can talk to me about that. I'll put you in touch with my lawyer who deals with this sort of stuff. But that isn't the mafia's fault or Greece's fault. I'm sure it's the same issue here. That seems to be an internal affair amongst your family. Nothing to do with the government or the mafia. But there are things that you can do. If there are legitimately things that you can do, where if you guys don't see eye to eye and one wants to sell. No, I get it. I don't understand. I understand that you're trying to explain the issues, but you need to understand that you can't just pin these issues on external factors. It's obviously because if your issues weren't there, if your family did want to sell and you all saw eye to eye, it would be quite simple. It wouldn't be the easiest process in the world, but not my siblings. The guys selling don't talk. Oh, okay, fine. But again, that isn't the mafia and that isn't the government. That's obviously the other party, the third party, the external party that you're buying from. That's not, and this is where I start to go. I don't like. Yeah, of course it makes it hard. And that's where I go to people when you people are very quick to be negative about things, and you're like, well, what is it actually? Let's dig deeper into what it is that you're actually talking about and what the issue is. And then more often than not, you go, okay, well, it's actually not that, it's actually this. So you're talking about siblings not getting along. I assume that you were trying to buy something, and the third party, the other party weren't communicating. Mafia only dealing with Hakitikin on the popular island. Yeah, more or less, yeah. Try open a beach bar in Hakitiki, see how that goes. So yeah, and I found that out last year. Not the hard way, but yeah, I've got some friends that told me some stuff. I was like, oh, okay. But also, okay, so you don't open a beach bar in Kakidiki. Doesn't mean you can't, but I own property in Kakidiki. Never had a mafia man knock on my door. And I don't want to. And if anyone is watching, Mr. Mafia Man, please don't. But yeah, okay, so your issue is about buying property from someone else whose family doesn't communicate. I'll tell you the best way to solve that problem. Don't buy it. Don't deal with it. Move on. There's more properties, man. There's absolutely more properties. Why do you desperately need that property? So you acknowledge the mafia. Yeah, of course. Just like I acknowledge it here. Like, yeah, how can you not acknowledge the mafia? It's a known thing. Are you from? I don't know if you're from Australia, but if you are, there was a series called Underbelly. It was based all about the mafia in Australia. So I'm like, yeah, it exists. They come from Italy. You're from Australia, so you obviously know of Underbelly. The mafia exists. Yeah, of course. And we're on, especially Thessaloniki, they're on the border of Albania and Bulgaria. The mafia is there, yeah, of course, and they're present in those areas. Where are they not in the world? I don't understand. Do you think that there's no mafia in Australia operating currently? Like, I don't know if you're from Melbourne, but Lygon Street 20 years ago was a whole different place than what it is now. Now it's quieter. Sydney, but they're kids compared to Bulgaria. Yeah, okay, but they still exist. I'm not. I don't know, man. I feel like we're going around in circles. Like I don't understand. But I'm from Melbourne as well. But I don't know what the point is that we're trying to make right now. But yeah, I agree that mafia is a thing, but I don't think that they're driving the prices up on the real estate market. I don't think they've got a chokehold on how much people can pay on rent. I think they've got a chokehold on the touristy spots in regards to like beach bars and stuff like that. Absolutely. But I don't think how like I don't know how they would infiltrate Airbnbs like other than just buying them all out with their money because that still needs to go through the government. I don't know if you've set up an Airbnb in Greece, but it has to go through your taxes net. Everything needs to go through your taxes net. It's quite legitimate, actually. I'll let you push your agenda. Have a good night. Thanks, man. Take care, Gazoo. I hope you figure life out, brother. But anyway, that's quite an interesting conversation. I'm sad that he's gone because we were having quite a good chat. Mafia are prevalent in Greece, yes. Obviously, like they are prevalent in any part of Europe and any part of the world, mind you. I don't think they've got a chokehold on the real estate market. But anyway, what do I know? I'm not part of the mafia. But according to Gazoo, it could be the government that's corrupt, it could be the mafia, it could be everyone else, the other people that he couldn't buy property off, but himself. This is what I'm saying. Everyone's quick to blame everyone else, but look at themselves. So that's where I always just go, I wonder what people are thinking. I'd love to know people's stories because where it's very easy to go if the government's corrupt or thing of this, da 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 da. Okay, cool. I must just have gotten lucky. But what I was going to say is I am in Greece July through to August. I'll be in Athens. I'll be in Thessaloniki predominantly because I'm renovating the two places. I will be bringing you guys. How many properties have you purchased in Greece so far? 3 of my own, and I've inherited a lot more. And I've purchased with my parents and all that. So it's been over about 6 years that I've done. I'm going back to renovate my next two. Well, my first one renovating, and I'm built like converting a shop into an apartment, into a studio apartment, which I will show you guys all that kind of stuff when I get there. I can't wait to get there because I just want to start filming and everything. The Greek Bond strikes again. Look, I am a fan of James Bond, but it's not. I always was wondering if people think I'd be douchebag having this behind me. It's just that I've got nowhere else to. I've got nowhere else to do this sort of stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll just put it there. Is this my full time gig? Is what my full time gig? Buying properties in Greece? No, God, I wish it was. I'm not that lucrative at the moment. I assume you're talking buying Greece? Absolutely not. I've just started this business about 6 weeks ago. I'm slowly transitioning into it and building it all up. And basically, I mean, I should actually do a proper story about how I started and where I'm going. But I bought my first property in 2018, I think. Yeah, rough. Anyway, wherever it was, somewhere around there. Put out a personal loan from Australia and then bought a few more times after that, and then started helping family to buy. Well, actually, before that, I was part of the process of my parents buying. That's sort of how I came to it because I was seeing them buy their property. We were born. I was born there. We migrated to Australia. They worked here for however long it was, 25 years, whatever. They went back in 2005. I went back with them for a bit, got caught by the army, stayed in Greece. They started buying some stuff. So I was part of that. Obviously, I was just there hanging around. I was looking at everything. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. It seems quite simple. They were buying. And then eventually I wanted to do something with my money. And my parents were like, buying Greece. I thought, all right, stuff it. So then I started to buy and I found it quite addictive, to be honest, because obviously it was easy for me to buy. It was cheap at the time. It was ridiculously cheap. I bought my first one for 19,000 euro. And that was with all the logistics on top of it. And it's a 48 square meter, 1 bedroom apartment in the heart of Thessaloniki. 19,000 euro. I probably dumped another 10 grand on it. And now it's been evaluated at about 70,000. So then I continued to buy, help some friends with issues as well. And then someone was like, why don't you start it as a business? And I was like, yeah, let's see what happens. Taxes paid in Australia or in Greece for the property you hold? Both. Both. I'm a dual citizen. So Greece wants to know what I own here and what I pay there. And Australia, I've told Australia everything because my accountant told me I'm not trying to do anything dodgy. I didn't want to try hide anything. I think technically anything under 50,000, they don't really care about. But because of the inheritance that was potentially coming only child, so because of the inheritance that potentially coming my way, is like, look, if you don't tell them now, then they're just going to see it when it all hits your account anyway, and it could trigger some stuff. I was like, that's fine, just whatever, I don't care. So I pay double. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm paying double. So I know that Greece doesn't have a double tax agreement, but but then I had a chat with a lawyer the other day and some other businessmen, and both said the same thing randomly, where they go, we keep the money in Greece and you don't pay taxes on the money, which I'm doing the same. I'm not bringing money into Australia because I keep it there, I reinvest, etc., etc. But Australia does also want it. I'm just telling Australia that I own property in Greece. I'm sure I'm paying some kind of tax on it, but it's nothing ridiculous. And in Greece, I'm not paying anything extraordinary either, to be honest. I think it's something like 3% of the property value or something like that, or maybe 3%. No, sorry, I'm not paying capital gains. I think I'm paying just on the money that I make, because obviously it's all coming in with long-term investments. I think you're onto something. I was there last year and plenty of opportunities. Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm onto something. I hope I'm onto something. I mean, it works for me. I'm trying to help other people achieve the same thing. We'll see. Honestly, I was shit scared of starting this because I thought people are just going to laugh. People are going to come down to me. People are going to be negative. People are going to tell me I'm an idiot and government's corrupt and mafia's involved, whatever. And yes, they have, but also I don't care. I'm still buying property in Greece. I thought, well, I'm helping everyone out. I might as well try and turn this into a business. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm a buyer's advocate. So what I do is I research the market. I can go and check I mean, if I'm in Greece, which chances are I probably am because I'm there, once or twice a year, I will go and check out the properties for people. I'll do an inspection, take photos, do all that kind of stuff. Kind of estimate where the market value is for that property and what the returns would be on a lease, and what it might need for renovations, and then I can facilitate all that stuff with all my people and take it through that process. I can manage it, so that means getting tenants in, getting tenants out. Again, a yearly report, photos, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And project manage as well for renovations. When people need something done, you kind of want to have someone on the ground there that you definitely trust. Absolutely. Long story short, I had a second cousin who decided to build a building there, like I can't remember how many apartment buildings, but a tower, and he would rock up at 11 a.m. and leave at 2 p.m. and some days wouldn't even do that, whatever. And a lot of things were being stolen, a lot of things were being taken, a lot of things weren't, being delivered and whatever. So he kind of lost out on that. Sadly passed away from a heart attack. But anyway, on that note, I will leave it. If anyone needs any information, renovation, do you use locals or are you hands-on? I wish I was as hands-on. Well, painting I do because my dad was a painter and that's how I got taught. So I do paint, but purely because I actually just enjoy the painting. That's quite calming for me. But no, I've got builders there. I've got my own people there who, in Thessaloniki in particular, I got a builder who built my parents' stuff and then came on to me. And we've been using him for at least the last 15 years. So he does all my properties. But as I was saying, I do need to let you guys go because I've got food coming and I think it's almost here. Buyinggreece.com.au for any more information. Hit me up. I'm on Spotify, obviously YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Buying Greece on the socials. And get in touch if you have any questions or if you need a hand with anything. I love having a chat. Believe me, anyone who's called me, I've been on the phone to him for at least an hour, just having a chat about Greece. I love buying Greece, and I want to turn the negative around. And thank you, Fevin. I can't. My eyes are so terrible. I appreciate the support. And as I said, if I'm commenting on the messages, it's not because I'm trying to be negative. I'm actually really interested in people's things. Well, anyway, that's my food. So I'm going to leave you guys to it. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Well.